What if I told you the star of some of the most emotionally powerful films of our generation never intended to be an actor? We're talking about Tom Hanks, one of the most beloved and talented actors in Hollywood history. In this video, we will explore Tom's upbringing, how he got his start in acting, some of his most iconic roles like Forrest Gump, his process for building characters, and what drives him to keep pursuing his art even after decades in the business. Tom Hanks is truly one of a kind. Understanding his journey both personally and professionally will give you insight into what makes him so special as an artist. Seeing how he brings such heart and humanity to every character can inspire all of us. Tom grew up constantly shifting between his divorced parents' homes in Northern California. This nomadic early life led to him living in a whopping 10 different houses before reaching just 10 years old. While such a disruptive, unstable upbringing could have been traumatic and emotionally damaging for some, Tom believes this time instead fed into his adaptability and excitement for new adventures. He cultivated imagination and resilience as his primary coping mechanisms. Tom recalls school as a place of refuge from the chaos of home. He loved losing himself in coursework, especially any opportunities for creativity, whether writing stories or making art projects. In high school, Tom finally discovered acting in a drama class, realizing almost instantly he'd found the greatest way to go to school, since these acting exercises didn't feel like work in the usual sense. While Tom displayed no obvious natural talent in the beginning, his drama teacher appreciated the boisterous energy and lack of self-consciousness. Tom emanated in theatrical games and improv scenarios. Though just playing the class clown and hamming it up, this playful spirit caught the attention of his teacher, who began giving Tom opportunities to perform in school productions. The positive feedback from making people laugh fed Tom's passion and built his confidence. Being able to evoke reactions in a crowd made him feel less alone. Watching student productions also opened his eyes to the craft itself. He became enthralled by the spectacle of sets, costumes, and lighting design. He dreamed of someday starring in films, but still thought of acting primarily as fun versus viable work. Fact hit number 1. As an aspiring young actor scraping to pay the bills, Tom Hanks took on all kinds of odd jobs while dreaming of his big break, including as a hotel bellman and as a peanut vendor. After graduation, Tom reluctantly heeded his father's wishes to go to junior college to have a practical backup beyond chasing theatre pipe dreams. But a chance run-in with an old acting buddy who asked what shows Tom was performing relit the fire under him. His friend made Tom realise he missed the thrill of performing enough to pursue it, despite the uncertainty ahead. Tom started stacking his schedule with drama classes and auditioning for every student production. A role in a regional theatre play then helped him get accepted to the prestigious Great Lakes Theatre Festival. Unfortunately, right before finishing his 3-year internship and earning his full equity union membership, Tom hit a discouraging setback. He was turned down at a crucial audition that would have meant job stability with the festival. Unsure of what was next, but determined, Tom turned around and immediately threw himself into local non-equity productions where he could get experience. This led to the role of a lifetime only months later. A guest part on Happy Days caught the eye of the show's former child star, Ron Howard, who was now pursuing a directing career. Howard took a chance on casting Tom as the lead in Splash opposite Daryl Hannah, launching his fame. Splash cemented Tom as a charming, funny, romantic lead, whom audiences, especially women, adored. He and Howard continued collaborating on hit comedies like The Burbs and Joe versus the Volcano in the late 80s through mid-90s. Having found his niche, Tom could have played it safe staying typecast as a goofy but lovable lightweight for the rest of his days. But Tom consciously fought against just cashing in on his newfound stardom. He began strategically alternating crowd-pleasing comedy blockbusters like Big Air League of Their Own and Sleepless in Seattle with emotionally complex dramas. With his everyman persona and almost puppy dog-like eyes full of empathy, Tom was perfectly equipped for tearjerkers. But conversely, Forrest Gump emerged shortly after, as a character that showed unimagined insight and reached far further than director Robert Zemeckis ever could have imagined. Earning esteem from peers and critics by showing range, Tom found himself gaining unprecedented clout in Hollywood. Esteemed directors clamoured to work with him. Being so prolific, yet also proving his ability to carry films across genres, Tom fast became the rare star guaranteed to sell tickets no matter the concept. Over a dozen of his movies have grossed over $100 million. Fact, hit number 2. Tom Hanks turns out to be a distant relative of both the noble President Abraham Lincoln, and found out he was also related to Fred Rogers days before Mr. Rogers was released. Central to Tom's success has been his fruitful collaborative relationships, most crucially with director Ron Howard. Their similar comic sensibilities and relaxed working style built immense trust. After Splash's breakout, Howard cast Tom in defining hits like Apollo 13, through to recent formulaic but crowd-pleasing fare like Inferno, an enduring partnership spanning over 30 years. Tom also forged a legendary kinship with Steven Spielberg, based on their shared social conscience and desire to produce cinema that emotionally impacts audiences while still entertaining them. Spielberg recognised Tom had a Jimmy Stewart-esque authenticity and charm that could humanise even extraordinary figures. Their collaborations on bold, landmark films like Saving Private Ryan and Catch Me If You Can display Tom's astounding range and earn him continued respect. The extent of Tom's dedication to particularly challenging roles borders on mythic. For Cast Away, he actually gained 50 libs, so he had the heft coming into filming to portray a pudgy average guy. Then, through an extremely strict diet combined with physically demanding routines, Tom lost the same 50 libs over months of shooting, vividly evoking the isolation and privation of being stranded, shrinking into his clothes as clothing wears down. This tangibly reflects the character's individual emotional transformation as well. We also can't forget his colourful portrayal as Woody in Toy Story, a journey which began in 1995. While Tom demonstrates a work ethic beyond parallel when needed, he equally commits psychologically and spiritually to each new world and character. He spends exhaustive time researching every detail of the real figures he agrees to play, accumulating volumes of facts and anecdotes that allow him to layer subtle quirks and gestures into his portrayal. Then, through months of shooting, Tom essentially time travels, immersing so far into those lives that friends say he becomes them through and through, often struggling to come back to himself after. Of course, even a charmed multi-decade career spanning over 60 films carries waves of uncertainty behind the scenes. After an early career hot streak catapulted Tom swiftly into leading man fame and fortune, he found himself floundering to find footing through his late 30s into mid-40s. As opportunities slowed and buzzcooled during this awkward career chapter, spent struggling to grow out of boyish charm roles, self-confidence buckled at moments. Having gotten used to the glimmering perks of name recognition during lulls between hits, Tom found himself passing whether he should accept supporting roles he felt beneath his proven prowess. He begrudgingly took on some thinly sketched characters just to pay bills mounting after years comfortably cushioned. But playing roles without depth, meaning, or substantive screen time to sink in took a toll, leading to work feeling deflating versus fulfilling for a period. After a string of critical and commercial disappointments, Tom continued doubting his own instincts. Increasing outside pressure compounded scrutiny of his choices. Going years without a fitting vehicle to showcase his brilliance ate at Tom's imposter syndrome, quietly stewing over this shared assumption he may be washed up at only 44. The compounding stress impacted his health and sent him reeling toward a dangerous midlife crisis moment. Fact, hit number 3. Tom Hanks is honoured every April with an International Tom Hanks Day, giving his grateful fans around the globe an annual occasion to appreciate his decades of bringing earnest humanity to the screen. As anxiety swelled, so did Tom's reliance on interim vices to ease angst during this aimless era. He coped through lean times by overindulging, drinking, eating, and smoking more than normal. As destructive habits that long helped manage the demands of fame began undermining thriving, instead Tom realised he needed drastic change before totally losing control. Exhausted from chronic stress, through taking a step back, Tom tapped back into core intentions that had gotten buried under distorting industry pressures. He asked himself hard questions about why he ever pursued acting, and realised in essence it was the joy of storytelling itself that fed him, not trophies or celebrity. Renewing focus on purpose over ambition organically washed away a year's heavy price tag of praise, freeing Tom to fully fall back in love with his craft. He turned down more hollow roles mismatched to his sensibilities, despite dwindling savings. Liberated, embracing bright prospects that seemed unlikely to re-enter his 50s, Tom felt creatively reborn. He stopped chasing former, pedestal glory and began operating from a place of confident devotion to the work alone, which soon organically summoned bigger opportunities than ever dreamed. He adopted the mindset of a 20-year-old newcomer again, simply grateful to build characters complex enough to lose himself inside, which restored the meaning that called him in the first place.